Hello, guys. Our discussion for today will be the first part of the accounting for non-accountants or the basic accounting topics. So the first chapter of the basic accounting will be the introduction to accounting. However, we are going to divide the discussion into two parts. For the meantime, I prepare only 6 slides for the discussion, which will include the basic concepts and um, math, basic concepts and information related to basic accounting. Then the second part will be downloaded or uploaded, after a week, no? So hopefully you will listen to this first part because the second part will be is just a continuation or ipapagpatuloy ko lang yung discussion ng first part. Okay? So, to begin our discussion, okay? Okay? So, this is introduction to accounting. Okay? Our first question is, what is accounting? No? Yun yung una natin dapat masagot. What is accounting? Okay? According to some authors, okay, accounting is a service activity. It is a service activity because its function is to provide quantitative information, primarily financial in nature, about economic entities that is intended to be useful in making economic decisions. This definition, that accounting is a service activity was taken from the Accounting Standards Council. Okay, again, it is a service activity which function is to provide quantitative information, primarily financial in nature, and about economic entities that is intended to be useful in making economic decisions. So it is a service activity because we provide services to entities, and our services is to provide quantitative information. Okay? That will be useful later on, para sa kanila to make economic decision. Another, accounting is an art. Why it is considered as an art? Because it is the art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transaction, and events which are in part at least of financial in character and in interpreting the results thereof. The definition that accounting is an art is that was taken from the Committee on Accounting Terminology of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Okay. Bakit nasabi nilang art? Because accounting is an expression. It expressed it expresses the position, the performance of the company. It is the art of recording. We record transactions, we classify transaction, and then later on we summarize it in a significant manner, and that summarization will help the company to establish no um decisions that will be helpful to the accounting entity. Another definition is accounting is a process. It is a process of identifying, measuring, and communicating economic information to permit informed judgment and decision by users of information. Yes, accounting is a process because we follow a systematic process. We follow a step-by-step process. We follow step 1, step 2, step 3, up to the last step in order for us to come up with an output of the accounting. And the output of yung output na tatawagin natin is yung accounting information na hinahanap na ng mga users. Okay. Another is accounting. So if we're going to summarize it all, accounting is about quantitative information because it is more on numbers, no? Quantitative information. It provides figures, numerical figures. And that numerical figures are financial in nature. Mga pera po 'yan, no? Okay? Mga pera, nagastos, mga um, cost, mga values, values ng isang asset, kaya that's financial in nature. And another, accounting, used for making decisions. Used for making economic decisions. Okay, so if those definition na inasabi ko kanina yung tatlo, that accounting is a service activity, it is an art, it is a process, well, we can sum it all, no, into three main keywords. Una, that accounting is a quantitative information that is financial in nature and useful in making economic decision. Okay, because the objective of accounting is just to provide a quantitative financial information about a business that is useful to users, whether internal or external, in making economic decision. Okay, next. Okay, who are the users of accounting information? We have the internal and external users. Pag sinabi pong internal users, these are people who are inside the business organization. Why people inside the business organization considered users of accounting information? And who are these internal users? Okay, specifically, a basic example of internal user is the manager. The another example is the employees. Another is the owner itself, the administrators. No, these are usual, no, internal users of accounting information. They need accounting information in order for them to, no, for example, for top level management, they want to know if the type of management, no, na ina-apply nila in handling the business organization is very effective or not. Using the output of accounting, they can identify whether they have effectively and efficiently realized all plans that they have made for the particular period. For employees naman, their objective why they need the accounting information is that they want to know if the company can able to provide the benefits, the salaries that they are asking from the particular company. The owner, okay, because it is usually part of the business organization and it is an insider of the business organization. Usually, yung kailangan lang naman niya is kung kumikita ba siya sa negosyo niya o hindi. Yun naman yung madalas niyang itanong, if he or she gains, no, enough cash, or during this accounting period meron po marami po bang napaggastusan, mas marami ba ang collection or mas maliit ang collection. So, those are internal users. Ano naman po yung sinasabing external users? External users, people who do not have any direct control over the business organization. Usually, these are the suppliers, the banks, creditors, investors, including the potential investors, the government agencies, and the public in general. Okay. So, yung external users, mas marami-rami ito sila. For example, for suppliers, okay, or sometimes itong suppliers na to, ito yung mga creditors natin na pag-uutangan natin, they want accounting information because they want to know if magpautang sila sa atin, can we able to pay them, no, for the utang that we have. For government agencies, Why do they need accounting information? For a basic example for this is the Bureau of Internal Revenue. The Bureau of Internal Revenue would like to know the accounting information kasi they want to know if ilang tax ang makokolek sa atin. The public, if there are, if this particular company will help additional employment to the community where it is located. And then for potential investors, usually yung mga potential investors would like to check the accounting information kasi before they invest, they want to assess whether or not the company can able to provide revenues on their investment or return on their investment. So those are common um, objective, no, of different external users. In accounting, meron po tayong tinatawag na phases, okay, of its process. Okay, it is divided into four. Number one, the identifying and the analyzing phase. Ano po ba ang ginagawa sa identifying and the analyzing phase? In this phase, we try to identify and analyze whether the transaction is accountable or not. A transaction is considered accountable if it will affect the elements of accounting. So, una, the first phase in the accounting process, okay, it is different from the accounting cycle. No, this is the accounting process. Unang phase po is the identifying and analyzing, wherein we identify all transactions happening in the business organization. And from the transaction, we need to identify which transaction is accountable or not. When we can say that a transaction is accountable, if the transaction will affect the elements of accounting. There are 5 elements of accounting, no? Okay, which we are going to discuss later on. Okay? As of now, pag sinasabi pong accountable, these transactions that affects the elements of accounting. If not accountable, we are not, hindi po ibig sabihin that we are not going to include that in um the outputs of the accounting. Still, pwede po siyang maisama, pero hindi lang po siya i-record. Ano po yung analyzing? Analyzing, it is the process wherein we analyze whether there is a value received or a value parted with on the particular transaction. Meron po bang pumasok? Meron po bang lumabas? Ano po ba ang nadagdagan po ba ang isang elemento ng accounting o nabawasan po ba ang isang elemento ng accounting? That's how we analyze. That is the first phase of accounting process. The second phase will be the recording and classifying. Ano naman po ang ginagawa on recording and classifying? At this phase, the practitioner of accounting classify in which a transaction shall be recorded. Moreover, this phase is where the practitioner formally record the said transaction. Itong classification at recording, una, we classify it if there is an increase, saan po ba siya nag-increase? Sa asset po ba? Sa liabilities? Sa equity? Sa revenue? Or sa expense? Doon po natin i-consider. Kasi parang once you analyze, parang you analyze muna whether it increase or decrease. Pangalawa, you classify. Ano po ba yung nadagdagan? Whether assets, liabilities, okay, the equity, the revenue, and the expenses. Or anong element po ba ang naapektuhan? Okay, ano po ba ang nadagdagan? And then, recording, that is the time we formally record the the transaction of the accountable transaction. Ano po ba yung recording? There is an appropriate way of recording accountable transaction that will be discussed as we go on this subject. Measuring. Okay? The third phase is measuring and summarizing. Measuring, this is where we measure the said transaction. Usually, once we measure the said transaction, we measure it in a currency. Because we are in the Philippines, we measure it using the Philippine peso. So, because accounting is financial in nature, kaya gagamitin nating measurement is pesos. Because that's the financial um, denomination ba tawag doon? Or should I say, yun yung currency na meron tayo dito. Okay? And then, once we measure it, okay, after measuring it, recording it, and classifying it, we summarize it. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng summarizing, it is the process in which the accountant try to summarize the day-to-day transaction in just one report. So, it is the time, okay, wherein we are going to prepare the final output of the said, okay, um, accounting, of the, uh, that's the time that we are going to prepare the final output of accounting in just a sheet of paper. Kung isang papel lang yan. Okay? Sometimes it has around 100 plus papers in a very complex type of business. Okay? And then the last one, okay, the report will be useless if wala po yung communicating and interpreting. This is the process wherein the discussion of the summarized report, okay, and interpreting yung disclosed in the report is made. We try to interpret the results, okay, that we have, the results, okay, or the disclosures of the output of accounting. We communicate it to users of accounting. So that's the ordinary phases of accounting process. Okay? We have the identifying and analyzing, the recording and classifying, then we measure it, then after measuring it, we summarize it, and then after summarizing it, we communicate and interpret it so that the users can able to understand and um, prepare decisions that is very helpful in achieving their objectives. The next, ayun, yun lang muna po ang discussion natin in relation to accounting. Sa susunod po, we will proceed to the types of business organization and the accounting methods that are being used and even the accounting assumptions that we are going to accounting assumptions that we need to understand for the introduction in accounting. Thank you and God bless everyone.